Afternoon. How's everyone doing? Welcome back to Instant Spurs, episode 13. Hope everybody's keeping well, enjoying their Sunday afternoon after a Spurs victory yesterday. Finally a win, guys. Finally a win. It's not going to be a long one. I ain't got too much time, so I just thought I'd jump on for a bit, talk about the game yesterday. Yeah, so were Spurs fans wrong about Spurs? Well, let's get into it. So look, come on, like going into that Brentford game, let's be real. Spurs were a mess, right? They really were. The setup wasn't right. The team wasn't creating chances. There was no fight. There was no identity. Players looked like they were actually regressing. Won a Premier League game for about 5 matches, slided down that table, and we were really struggling, weren't we, with that home form, and the stadium was turning toxic. Yes, look, fans, they understand like a new manager needs to take time, but the problem is we weren't seeing enough progress, weren't we? And we were seeing the opposite, and it just has caused a lot of debate in the Spurs fan base. One side is saying this squad is better than it is. These players should be attacking. They should be winning games, competing, having an identity, winning at home. And the other side was saying we're just not good. The squad isn't strong enough. Blaming the manager is pointless. But then yesterday happened, right, guys? It did, didn't it? The Brentford game surprised both sides. Better tactical structure, better energy, better pressing, better individual performances, and finally, a home win. Look, it was only Brentford, so look, the sensible fans won't overreact, and we need to see it against better sides. But at least it was a step forwards, and it felt like, it was something, weren't it? It was better. It was much better, guys, weren't it? Let's go to the chat and see what people are saying. And yeah, finally a win, man. And I was happy. I've got to be honest. Like, it's been really bad lately. Just coming on YouTube, moaning, complaining, and it was good to see an actual win and a good performance. Fantastic from Xavi as well. What a performance from him. And yeah, a lot of the players have some really strong performances. But look, let's go to the chat and see who's in there and say hello to a few people. I won't be streaming for too long. So Mark's in the chat. Big up, Mark. How you doing, man? How are you? Frank didn't know his best side or formation. Well, hopefully he's found that out now after yesterday. Big up, Nige. Hope you're good, man. Enjoyed your stream with Ricky earlier. And Guy, big up chat, smash the like button, subscribe to a great channel. Thank you very much. Another failed upload. Corey, how you doing, man? Hope you're good. A few hellos in the chat. And Ricky's saying it wasn't bad, eh? No, it was so much better. And Nigel's saying, are we back? Well, are we back? Look, it was a win. It's a start. Hopefully we're going to see some more wins now and some, better football and a bit of consistency. And that's what we need. So I wouldn't say we're back yet. But yeah, he was a step in the right direction, especially for those who doubt Thomas Frank. Afternoon to Norm. Hope you're good. One swallow does not make a summer. More energy, better performance for sure. And Brentford were poor. Yeah, I agree. And it's really difficult, isn't it? Because Brentford weren't great. They weren't. They don't play well on the road. What was that? 7 defeats out of 8. So yeah, we should be winning this game. But I just think, it was just such a better performance from Spurs, and it was positive, really, really positive, I thought. Mark saying we need to see consistency for sure. Ricky's saying Frank will take it further, I reckon. Was that Romero moment, the K moment for Poch? Well, let's hope so, Ricky. Let's really hope so. All we do as Spurs fans is want us to do well, right? We want to win games. want to play some better football. We don't expect everything to be sorted. We're realistic. But, there are some basics that we need to see from this side. We need to be winning at home. We need to be playing on the front foot. We need to be building and some kind of identity in the side. So the players know and then the fans know what's going on. And up until yesterday, it was all a bit of a mess, wasn't it? From Frank, he was chopping and changing players, system, and it just wasn't working, was it? And we kept on losing, poor performances, frustration in the fan base. Those horrible derby defeats did not help. And at least yesterday, we saw something working. Fullbacks were pushed high. Xavi, finally we can see what he can do. But just generally, there was a lot of good things in that performance yesterday. Was Charleston scoring again? Mawani in the side, kudos. And we weren't just spamming crosses into the box. We were building the ball through midfield, centrally. We were defending aggressive. Didn't give Brentford anything. I think they had, 3 shots in the game, 1 on target. And we dropped off in that second half a bit, and especially after we made the substitutions. But come on, we can't really fault that performance, especially what we've been seeing lately. Mike saying, all good, mate. How are you and the family? They're all good. Busy. Thank you, mate, for asking. Not my tinfoil hat on. Got my tinfoil hat on. Pick up, Corey. A few hellos in the chat. Who else is in there? They say, Richards, man, how you doing, man? Evening to you. A few hellos in the chat. And there we are. Yeah, thanks everyone for joining us. It's not going to be a long one, but guys, look, what do you reckon of it then? What do you make of it all? Like Nige said in the chat, are Spurs back? Are we back? I don't know. Everybody in the chat where you are at the moment with Spurs. I know some of you where you're at. Obviously, streaming with you, speaking to you, and messages and so on. But for the fans who are kind of like, putting more of the blame on the manager. And I'm one of them. I do. I think that Spurs can be doing better than what we're seeing. I don't expect us to challenge the top sides. I don't expect us to get top 4. But I do expect this group of players to challenge for European football. As I said, win games at home. Look like there's some identity. Players improving, not regressing. And there's some basics that I expect when a new manager comes in. Yes, I know it's not going to be perfect and there's going to be ups and downs, but over the last month, the form has been dreadful and we've looked like a side really lost, I think. So look, the question is really, if the players showed this level yesterday, why haven't they showed this, in previous games? And do you put that down to Frank and just still trying to work it all out? Guys, just let me know in the chat what you think. Say hello to Ryan as well. Evening to you. Hope you're good, buddy. And evening as well to Henry. Thank you for being here. I hope you're good. What do you make of the game? It's given you some new hope for this season. Do you think that Frank now can find that consistency? Is he going to stick to this formation? Is he going to stick to the similar lineup as possible? Of course, we're going to have to chop and change game to game sometimes when we've got lots of games. You've got to rest players, can't play the same players game after game, but the kind of majority of those players have got to start the match, I think, and that's what I'll be looking forward to. The next game we play, we've got a Champions League game on Tuesday, which is very winnable. I expect to see a similar style of play, a similar lineup. You can make some changes for that one. Yeah, we should be winning that one. But I want to see Xavi in the side again. I want to see, our best players playing it as many games as possible and just kind of rotating, certain positions, I guess. It's tricky to manage, I know. Let's go to the chat and see what people are saying. Nigel says, just like when we lose, we can't be too down, and when we win, we can't get too high. Well, problem is, Nigel, I'm very emotional at times. Like I don't like winning. No fans I do like winning. No fans like losing. The thing is, when I'm watching Spurs this season, and okay, we started the season not too badly. We got some good results. I'm just watching us like week to week, and I can't see any improvement. I see us losing games. I see us looking clueless. The creativity, the stats are just dreadful. We can't create chances. We can't defend. And look, it infuriates me. It really did. And on top of those awful derby performances against Chelsea and Arsenal, it can't be accepted. It really can't. Not being able to win at home. So look, I'm sorry, Nige, man. I do get a bit down. I've got to say that. Ryan, why haven't the players shown this during games? Answer: because progress isn't instant or linear. Yeah, fair point. But Ryan, there's got to be some progress, isn't there, by the manager? And what do you think? I know what you're kind of like a time thing. You've got to give it time. I get it. I've heard your opinions, but surely by now, and obviously we saw it yesterday, some progress, but surely we should start seeing identity or something that's functioning and something getting better. And up until yesterday, I didn't see enough, to be honest. I've got to be honest. But look, like, hopefully this is a step in the right direction. Ricky says, I think Frank will turn it around in Jan. We can strengthen, I reckon, top six and a good go in the Champions League and winning the FA Cup for the first time in 34 years. Well, wouldn't that be a dream, eh? Winning that FA Cup. It's been far, far too long. Look, I mean, you're optimistic. I wouldn't be so optimistic right now. It was one really good performance against Brentford. As I said, we need to see this moving forward. We need to see it next weekend against Nottingham Forest, not home to Liverpool, away to Palace. I don't expect to win all those games, but I expect to see a kind of similar style of play that we saw yesterday. And as I said, the kind of closest lineup as possible and something that we can build on. Players getting used to each other, building those relationships on the pitch. Players like Mawani finally getting a Premier League goal. Can Xavi play like that? Can he play that again? We don't know. And we're going to just have to wait to see it play out. But regarding top six, I mean, looking at the league, it's just so inconsistent right now, isn't it? So up and down. And I've always said there's opportunities in this league for Spurs to do something. Unfortunately, we just haven't been showing it on the pitch, and we've been so inconsistent ourselves. But there are opportunities here that we can get up that league if we can string some results together, some wins together. And why not? Why can't we push for European football? And when it comes to January, invest into the squad and improve it. I'm not sure right now. I'm very doubtful about Frank so far. Yes, it was better yesterday, but I need to see more of it before I kind of can get back on board what Frank is trying to do. Richards, man, how you doing, man? Hope you're good. I think at Xavi is still getting up to speed of Premier League, very much improved. Yes, I think there is, of course, it's going to take him time to adjust. The problem is we haven't seen him often, has he? It was the first time he started in, 5 games? He's struggled, hasn't he, when he's played? There's been some flashes. I remember the game against Copenhagen. He played really well. But I think it's not just trying to get used to the team. I just think that the team have kind of had no identity and they look a bit lost week to week. And the system's changing, formations changing, different players in and out. And I don't think that's helped Xavi. And we have seen some signs of him getting better. And I hope now that this is kind of his kind of breakthrough game yesterday and we can see him start to perform like that every week. We need it. We do need that top creating in the side. We just don't have enough of them, do we? And he was so good yesterday, guys. Let's have a chat about him. Let's talk about him. And the assist was fantastic. What an assist! He made the run. Was it Porro down the right channel? Timed his run to perfection. And I don't think he even touched it. It was just first time kind of pass cross, wasn't it, into the path of Richarlison. And it was quality. It was a quality goal. And I was really happy for him. And then not just that, he followed it up with a goal at the end of the half, didn't he? Kind of, he went sliding in with a challenge, didn't he? And I thought, that looked a bit dodgy. But then he got up and then he won the ball back and he just charged towards the goal. And no one could keep up with him. And he went and finished it. It was just a brilliant goal. Fantastic goal from Xavi. And look, it's just his general whole performance. And if you have a look at the heat map, it was all over the pitch, contributing. The passes accuracy was really good. He was dropping deep. He was running into the box. He was just keeping the ball moving fast. Look, I do have to question that Brentford midfield yesterday. They weren't the best, and we are going to come across some better midfields than Brentford's. But they had, experienced Henderson in there. Damsgaard's a good player, but I felt Gray done really well against Damsgaard yesterday. But it's like, players like Bentancur, Gray, they had solid games. It weren't spectacular, but they just kept it moving. They stopped any transitions happening. Their passing accuracy as well. Bentancur and Archie Gray's was really good as well. They didn't do any kind of line-breaking passes. But I think how Frank set up the team yesterday was all around Xavi. He was the chief creator of the side. He was the guy who was going to make us tick. And he was the match winner, wasn't he? A goal and assist, a fantastic performance. And as I said, I hope this continues. Richards man said, although he wasn't fantastic, I thought Gray was making good choices while in position, which is a very good sign. Look, yeah, as I was just saying, Richards man, I just think it was a solid performance from Gray. He didn't give the ball away. He looked, he didn't look under pressure when he had the ball. He had the thing is with Gray, he's got a lot of energy, isn't he? He's young, he can get about the pitch. That was like, I think it was his first 90 minutes in a Spurs shirt this season. And look, there's so much more to come from him, I think. And is that the kind of solution for our midfield moving forward? Benson, Core, and Gray, guys, what do you think? Do you want to see it again? I don't know, and as I said, I think I need to see that kind of combination in midfield against better midfields to see how it really gets on. Because Brentford weren't the best yesterday, but look, good signs. I'd like Frank to keep that now and just see how it plays out. Get the players get used to each other, and then bring Paulinho in as a kind of closer out of the game when you're winning and you want to hold the lead. Bring him on there to make those tackles and with his experience coming in. Ran with a cool head, there's been clear progress, but people are too emotional and analytical about it. When we lose, I look for positive, and we win, I look for improvements. Fair enough, man, and that's how you are. Nothing wrong with that. That's how you are as a fan, and you can support Spurs entirely how you want. And unfortunately, it's not me. Spurs have worn me out. They've worn me out for 25 years or longer than that, but. Yeah, I just don't have much patience anymore. Not just football, in life in general. To be honest, I just think that this group of players should be performing better. We should be creating chances. We should be winning at home, and we should be building some kind of identity under Thomas Frank. And I hope this is a kind of moment now where we see this Spurs side improves under Frank. I really do. Nigel says, "Oh, all good, mate." I go the other way and get too excited. Nige, mate. Again, you're a positive guy, but then you also call it out as well. So you do both. And like I did a video yesterday, right after the victory, right. I was really positive, right, about that performance. If Spurs do well and play well and win, I will come on and say it. The problem is lately, there's not been anything really good to talk about. No, I couldn't see any positives right now. And and it was great to actually come on and be positive for a change. It's simple, isn't it? Spurs win, we're positive. When Spurs lose, we're unhappy. I don't know. I just think I can deal with losses. I really can. I expect losses. It's just that when I see so many losses and us playing so badly, it really does worry me. And I kind of was really worrying if Frank could really make that step up coming from Brentford. And it's taken them a bit of time. And as I said, there's a lot of work to do, but we will see. Ryan says, like the wet stuff falling from the sky. Richie wasn't on the floor so much. Now, Richie, guys, what do you make of his performance? Like it was praised yesterday from fans, holding the ball up well. He scored another goal. What's that? His 7th Premier League goal this season. He's also scored goals in other competitions. I saw some stat that he's got I can't remember the number. Maybe people in the chat know, like 17 goals in 24 matches, something like that. Maybe I'm a bit off there. But look, I think Richarlison, he has scored some goals. He's missed some sisters this season. But then again, I'm thinking like this team has not created many chances, isn't it, match to match? And are we a bit unfair to judge Richarlison? If we created more chances, maybe we'd score more goals. Look, I don't think Richarlison's a long-term solution. But hey, he's playing, he's scoring goals, and we've got to get behind players. And, we slack them off enough, don't we? When they're not doing it. So when they're scoring, we've got to say, look, fair play, man. Keep it up, keep it going. And we want to see more of it. And let's see what happens. Ryan is surely we should have seen progress. I don't believe it. This match a fact is presented and sacrificed Premier League to win the Europa League last season. Frank is clearly developing players on the training ground. I don't know. I haven't seen enough of that, Ryan. Got to be honest. What players are developing well in your eyes? Please let us know. What have you seen? What improvements? I'm evening to Psycho Teacher. How you doing? Hope you're well, man. Ricky is saying too many people don't give a manager a chance. We have decent players. Xavi is going to be the new Rafa. Those Dutch boys know how to play and battle. Yeah, look, we just hope he's the player that we signed. That a lot of money we spent for him. I had a lot of hope for him when we signed him. And hopefully now this is the kind of moment for him to really get a grip of his role in Tottenham side and be the main man, that chief creator as we saw yesterday. But look, he's going to have up and down games. He's not going to be always out to play well. I understand that. But look, let's just hope that he can do something. And look, of course, we've got to give a manager a chance. Yes, of course we do. But when I see, and I think building up before that Brentford game, when I saw us off it so much and I couldn't see how anything was getting better, and Frank really struggling, poor result after poor result, losing to Fulham, not being able to beat Wolves, really bad performances in the Champions League away from home, beating, failing to beat, one of the poorest Man United sides I've seen for a long time. There's just it was a combination of things built up. I just didn't know what we were doing, and I just had enough of it. Obviously, realistically, I knew he wasn't going to get sacked, but I demand better from Spurs. We should be performing to a level with this group of players. Yes, I know there'll be fans questioning the quality of player, and we're always going to have that argument. And I don't expect Spurs to be challenging the top sides in the league right now. We're far away from it. But what I do expect is a bare minimum is a team that can get forward, keep hold of the ball, create chances, win games, and show some progression month to month. That's what I ask for, the basics. I'm not asking to win a cup. I'm not asking to qualify for Champions League. I just expect this group of players that we've got, and I do think we've got some good players. Yes, does some need chipping out? For sure. Yes, do we need to buy better in January and summer? 100%. But look, yeah, I'm quite a demanding fan, and I don't think that's too bad, to be honest. Like Frank's first season, we've got to see signs of progression month to month, in game to game sort of thing. Ryan, bigging up. Xavi was fantastic yesterday, combative and dynamic. I just hope fans remember he has a poor game because they will come. Yeah, like I just said, man. And not on top of the chat here. Ryan, 100% on Brentford midfield. Why will we struggle against Chelsea and Arsenal? Casado, Enzo, Rice and Supermendi. And that's a fact. And I do expect Spurs to struggle against better midfields. But what I don't accept is Spurs not showing fight and effort and leaving it all on the line to kind of counteract that. Yes, they've got better players, but those Chelsea Arsenal games were pathetic, weren't they? They didn't show up. It was dreadful. Some of the worst derbies I've seen for many years. And I think across in the past that we've had worse teams than this and managed to get things in London derby. So that's unacceptable. And the next derby's coming up in the second part of the season. We've got to see a better response from this Spurs side. Frank got to get it better. I'd rather just go for it, rather just sit back the whole game against Arsenal. It's just always going to be. It was a horrible setup, wasn't it? 5 at the back. Everyone thought it was going to be wing backs, but it wasn't. It was a dirty 5 at the back, and it was only ever going to end in one way. Big up to Ghosted. Evening to you. Hope you're good. Corey reckons thought that stuff that fell from the sky was dry. It could be tinfoil that I've got now for this fan base. Look, the fan base, everybody's arguing, aren't they? In the fan base, it's just a normal thing, isn't it? When Spurs are not consistently playing well, and yeah, there's just so much debate around when we lose games. It's crazy, isn't it? Like, who's to blame? Manager, players, bit of both. Yeah, man, it's always been the case until we see. Maybe go back to kind of Poch days, I guess, when the majority of the fan base were behind the team. That's the kind of thing that really we want Frank to achieve over time. But look, he's got to do a bit better, I think. He really does. Ryan saying, I think anyone who thinks that Frank can play the same side twice a week is setting himself up for a disappointment. Look, I know we can't play exactly the same side, but we've got to play the majority of the best players that we have to keep it going, change here and there, mix it up. We've got to see that consistency in the side. Look, man, we just haven't got a good enough squad to not play certain players, have we? There are certain key players in that team that must play every week or as many games as possible. And it's just about Frank trying to manage it. But I think saying this, I think if Frank can implement this style of play like we saw yesterday and then get other players involved in that, then, that's everybody knows what they're doing, right? This is how we're going to play. But saying that, can we play like that with certain players when we haven't got certain players? I don't know. But it's up to Frank, talking to the recruitment team. What players does he need to improve this side to do what he wants to do and build on it week by week? Evening to Carl. How you doing? Picking up the chat. Richie feeds off his partner. He looked okay with Mwani and now Xavi up top with him. If we want to play with one striker, Richie isn't it. So look, Mwani was coming off the left, wasn't he? Yeah, it's kind of more of like an inside forward, I think. It's been working. And we're still waiting for Mwani to get that Premier League goal. Progress. Johnson has taken on his man and crossed it in a few games in previous 2 seasons. Odeberg has improved. Frank said they've been working on Spence' offensive output. There was a comment around, wasn't it, that Frank made that I think it was after the game yesterday, that he was working a lot in the kind of attacking play in training, which God knows, don't know why I ain't been doing that earlier. But look, it was better. Spence done some really good runs yesterday. He really did. Johnson, I mean, yeah, I think you're struggling there, Ryan, really, with progress. I mean, I know what you mean. There's been an odd time he's run past the play and put a cross in, but he doesn't play, does he? He doesn't get in the side. I don't think there's a place for him right now. I think for Johnson, he's probably a player that is best moving on. Doesn't think he's going to do it for Spurs. Yes, he scored a lot of goals last season, but I just don't think it's going to give this team what it needs. We need pressers. We need aggression in the side. And Johnson is just, I just don't think he suits us. Coming off the bench, okay, fair enough if we need a goal. But look, I don't know about him, to be honest. I don't think there's been much progression with Johnson. Odegaard, there's been a bit of improvement. But again, when he plays him and he does well, he then drops him. So, yeah, it's hard for him to kind of build up that momentum. Wilson needs to be playing like every week. But it looks like Frankie's going with Mawani. Maybe he'll play Wilson on in the Champions League in a week. Because he probably feels like, I've been playing well and not getting in the side. But look, this is Frank's problem, isn't it, to deal with? And fans will be unhappy either way, won't they? They want him to play and then they want Mawani to play. Can't play them both. How do you fit it? How do you fit him in? Fans will say, well, we want Mawani up front and Richarlison dropped. But how do you drop Richarlison now? He's scoring goals, isn't he? So, yeah, it's a balancing act. It's better to have some misses, don't it, guys, I think. Ryan, yesterday we saw the result of 2 months of small moments put together in 145 minutes spell against a weaker side. We've had spells against other teams, but they've been overshadowed by individual errors. Some of that I agree with. Not the first part, though. I don't think that. I just think Frank's realised that he's got to play on the front foot and he's got to be more brave, push up higher, get those fullbacks up the pitch. I just think Frank was playing it far too safe, wasn't he? Working on the defence, but then the defence started not working and we conceded a lot of goals. But fair enough, man. That's your opinion. Fair enough. It's each to their own. No problem with that. Psycho Teacher says, we won a home game after a while against a shit Brentford side with the worst midfield in the league. They weren't great yesterday. They weren't great. I agree with you, man. They weren't. But, when things are so awful for Spurs right now, when you see something working and creating chances, scoring goal, winning games, like it's a start, man. I'm not convinced by Thomas Frank at all. I've got to be honest. Like he's got a lot to prove to me, if he can do this job. And I guess over time we will tell. Daryl, evening to you. I hope you're good. Another turn, the corner result. We turn more corners than everyone got. God, look. This is it, man. You can't get too carried away, eh? You can't. You never know what's going to happen with this Spurs side. But look, I mean, I enjoyed the win yesterday. I've been so miserable lately. So look, I know I'm probably over positive about it, but I don't give a shit. I mean, I enjoyed it. I do demand this to continue though, and yeah, we will see. We will see. Ryan, agree with what you're saying on the state of the squad. Dilemma fella, cheers, buddy, man. I've got to get you on, Ryan, because I saw you on. I think it was Sava. You were on with Sava, man. I'll get your contact details. Come on the show. I'm not really doing much lives at the moment, due to the baby, so I'm all over the shop. So I'm not doing consistent lives. But once we get the show back up and running with Nige, yeah, we'll get you on, man. Come on and have a chat with us. Ryan, on Spence, I think they've been working on him, but changing the human natural behaviour and ingrained learning is difficult. On Johnson, absolutely reverts to pass back factory settings. Yeah, I just don't know. He suits Spurs. Johnson, kind of counter-attacking player. I mean, Nan's got quite a lot out of him, didn't he, with that kind of ball across the box. And he does score goals, but it just doesn't seem to fit into what Frank wants to do. I think we need better than him anyway, moving forward. Psycho Teacher, what's going on? What do you mean, man? What have I said? Big up, Ellie. That was a much better performance and 2 great goals. It was great to see Xavi play well and hope this is stuff. So look, this is it, man. Like we're desperate, aren't we? We want to start. We want to see something get better. We want to win games. We want to be happy watching Spurs. We want to see progression. And Frank did a lot what I liked yesterday. He really did. Many fans have been demanding him to start Xavi. He starts him, demanding us to play more on the front foot. We played on the front foot. Demands to see that aggression in the side. And maybe Brentford were like the ideal opponents for us yesterday. But look, Nottingham Forest away next weekend. Nottingham Forest lost yesterday, didn't they? Got beaten well by Everton. I know Nottingham Forest are better at home. It's a game. We've got to go for it. We've got to go for it there. I'm sorry, we really do. We've got to start winning games and going in with a bit of belief. And I'm not, many fans will probably think, oh, we're not going to get anything out of that game. But no, I think we can. I really do. I really think we can get something. So, guys, look, I read an article of the Guardian this morning, which I felt really ran true with the fan base and what they're saying. I'll read it out to you guys. He said one of the main accusations levelled at Thomas Frank is that he lacks the boldness to manage Tottenham. His messes are not being received as well as they were at Brentford, and after a stuttering life in North London has left the Dane growing a number of critics wondering if he's too reactive to succeed at a club whose supporters will never accept their team losing without having a go. The damaging statistics have piled up. Low expected goals, entire openings without a single Spurs player managing a shot on target, no lead win at home since the opening weekend of the season. At Brentford, though they remember Frank fondly, they were sad to lose him to Spurs in the summer and probably did not expect their former manager to be under such intense scrutiny when they faced him for the first time. But these are the demands at the highest level, although Frank has seemed bewildered at times this season, seething on many occasions when Tottenham Stadium's descended into a pit of misery. This is simply what he signed up to when he left the security of Brentford for the restlessness of Spurs. It means even an emphatic win over his old team will not have seen enough evidence to turn the corner, which I totally agree with. Frank is yet to feel the love. He ain't even got a song, has he? At least he delivered in a game he dared not to lose. Spurs, after all, were good value as they collected their fourth home win in the league in 2025. It's shocking, man, isn't it? And they overwhelmed Brentford during an uncharacteristically purposeful first half, and we'll hope that a standout performance from Xavi Simons, who made his opener for Richarlison before scoring his first goal since his 52 million move from Leipzig, is a sign of things to come. Sometimes you work hard on things, sometimes it just suddenly clicks, Frank said. A lot of the players were on the same page. We look like a threat going forward. We play with pace, tempo and penetration. Look, I think it was quite good. Kind of summarised a lot how the fan base is feeling. Yeah, fair. I think that was fair assessment, really. I think many have been underwhelmed. A lot of people just say we don't have the quality to do it. But when we talk about the quality, we're talking about, it depends what your expectations are for the side, isn't it? Like if you say we haven't got enough quality to challenge the top sides, for sure. Of course we haven't. We really don't. But have we got enough quality to challenge some of those teams around us and push for European football? Hell yeah, I do. I think we have a good base of players we can work with. And if Frank can kind of set up, stick to a style of play and give these players confidence in their roles, then there's no reason why we can't push for European football and win more games, create more chances. I'm not having it. I'm sorry. I know some of these players are not good enough, but they're, when people say these players are shit, I just think it's harsh. They're not shit. A lot of them are international footballers and they should be able to pass the ball forward and they should be able to be coached and become a cohesive side. As I said, we're not going to win every week. We're going to lose games. There's going to be the odd kind of blunder, where we lose to a team which we should be beating. That's normal. That's always been Spurs. But when I've seen Spurs not being able to beat Wolves, can't beat Fulham, not beat Man United, and we're so close to winning that game. No, performance in the Champions League have just been very underwhelming. Not been able to create enough chances. I just think, look, something's not right when it's to do with the coaching, and I think it's Frank who's kind of struggling to get to grips with the Tottenham manager's role. Let's go to the chat. Let's see what else people are saying. Queen Ellie, let's see. How you doing, Ellie? Hope you're good. As long as this corner we've turned, we go full speed ahead on a straight road with power steering, our engine purring. Let's pray. We all want to win. Ellie, we just want to see better. We just want to see wins. We want to see progress. Ryan says, yep, always happy to share opinions as long as they're mutual. 100%, man. 100%. Yeah, I'd listen to any opinions. I don't always agree with people. Sometimes you get into a bit of a debate, might get a little bit heated sometimes, but I think I try and keep it as respectful as possible and each to their own with their opinions. Big up to you, man. Nige is 1- from yesterday. Romero needs to cut out those headless moments. He's our captain. and another day could have cost us with the tackle. Yeah, that was a bit. It was a bit, wasn't it? He went in the back, didn't he, of their striker? I remember that. I think that's what you mean. He's always going to be like that, Romero. That's him. If you take that part away from his game, he won't be the same player. That's the risk you play. Romero, and as I said in the video the other day, I said, like, when Spurs are kind of all over the shop, Romero's all over the shop. When Spurs play well, he plays well. He needs to step it up more, man. He's the club captain. We need more consistency for him. But again, it's all about the manager and how he's setting up the side, isn't it? Yeah, guys, it's crazy. Psycho teacher, unbelievable how some of us Spurs fans are still searching for something good in Johnson, Odegaard, with Richarlison, Tao. What's going on? Look, this is what we've got, man. This is what we've got. Like, what can we do? They're the players that we got. Half of them I wouldn't keep. I question them. Yeah, I've got to be honest. I really got to be honest. But, but let's just start with it. Odegaard is just young. He's not been good enough yet. There has been some okay signs from this season. We need to see more from him. We need a left winger full stop, don't we, in January or in the summer. We need a top player to replace him. Richarlison, I think we need better. Johnson, we need better. Tell, don't understand that signing at all. Doesn't play, didn't get included in the Champions League squad. Doesn't get enough games to build up to any kind of form. I don't know. I feel a little bit sorry for him, to be honest. I don't know why he came to Spurs. It's best off going to a club where he's going to be guaranteed football. He scored a couple of goals this season, a couple of deflections, but I just don't think he's going to develop in this team. There's just no space for him. Maybe it's just best off going on loan. Big up to Guy, man. Hope you're good. How's your hangover? Nigel saying hello. Big up chat. Frank let's have a look at this one here. Frank got money in the bank at Brentford because he took them up from Championship. Spurs fans have been, I'm not even going to pronounce that word, sorry man, suffer with a bit of dyslexia, into the belief that there's a fairy god manager who can wave his magic wands to fix a poor squad. And so Ryan's on the kind of argument that Spurs squad is just not good enough. Yeah, look, there are players who are not good enough, but there are some good players there. There really is. And with the right coaching, right setup, I think we can do okay with this lot. Yes, we need to improve it 100% if we really, really want to push on in the side. Queen Ellie's talking about Brian Dago has a song. Though it goes Thomas Frank. Yeah, no, I'm not singing that yet, Queen Ellie. I'm sorry, we're not ready for that. Yeah, he's got a lot to prove for me. Daryl, we are consistent at being inconsistent. Never see a small run of games, a non-losing streak to change my mind. And that's it. We need to get a winning streak. And if we can get a winning streak, then we can push up that league. But then we just hope it's not another false dawn. It's all about that consistent, these players are very inconsistent. I've got to be honest. Look, I've been kind of having a go at the manager this season. The players are inconsistent as well. Yeah, they've been inconsistent for years, this lot. There's not many consistent players in the team, is it? And this is why people question them. Are these players good enough? And I kind of get that argument. But Glint, that's a shocker, wasn't it? 100% nice. That sister tackle could have easily been the red. Yeah, could have on another day. It really could have. Which is man, not sure about that, Dan. Against the organised side that we are, our players, we can't control the ball pass. Well, we did yesterday. We have done it in certain games this season. I've seen it. These players control the ball and pass forward. What is it like generally, or I don't know? Just tell us a little bit more. That to me is poor players, and also why we struggle to create chances. Now, look, maybe I hear a lot of this, and I get this, right? We do need a passer of the ball in the midfield. We need two of them. We need those, those playmaker types playing it from deep who can dictate the play, keep possession, calm the game down. We haven't got it. Yeah, look, Bentancur, Gray did okay yesterday, recycling possession, but it was against Brentford, right? But if we do want to become a real top side, that's the area that this team needs in desperately. I've been saying it for such a long time, that playmaker type in midfield who can really set the tempo for us, give that ball security. Because sometimes we're just all over the place, can't keep possession. When you say, look, they can't control the ball or pass, I think it's harsh. They can. I think they can do it. Can they do it to a good enough standard? Maybe that's a better way of saying it, Richards, man. Can they do it to a good enough standard? Maybe that makes a bit more sense. And if you agree with that, then I agree with you 100%. Evening to Gary. Hi, mate. Your stream title needs changing from where to we. Oh, spelling mistake. I'll go in and sort that out after. Cheers, buddy. Immaculate calculated. I don't think you can move forward with a squad that lost 22 games last season. Man, I guess you're an Ange fan then, yeah. I don't know. Look, we took a beating, didn't we, last season? And no wonder fans don't have much confidence in this team. I get it. But look, I think I think there's a good base of players there, and I think with the right setup, right coaching, we can win games and we can improve. Got to have the right manager, of course, and we've got to improve in the transfer windows. But fair play to you, man. Fair play to you. Ryan, the consistency thing you'll get with young players is inconsistency. Yeah, young players are inconsistent. They are. Ryan's going on. Oh, hold on. Rayon, Coy's half our squad are good 25% bang average and the other 25 made of hangers on and youngsters. We need to dump 25% of bang average and get in a left winger, 2 strikers. Crowd. We need every position, Ellie. Every position across the team needs an upgrade, doesn't it? Look, come on, I don't know what we expect really as Spurs. I don't know. I don't know, man, honestly. And this is just all about the board, isn't it? What's the transfer strategy? What do they want to do? What's their ambition? Do they want to win the league? Do they want to win things? If they do, they need to buy top players. It's as simple as that. And look, we are far away from challenging. And when have we ever really challenged properly? Yes, we did okay under Pochettino. He got the most out of these players, but again, the board never really backed him to push that team along. Are we going to see anything different now? Are we going to see it? This is what we need. We need this, the new board to only bring in top players now, improve the players that we've got, ship out the ones who can't do it. It's just going to be in time, isn't it? We're just going to have to wait and see, guys. We're going to have to wait and see. Romero's tackle, it was a South American thing. Igor is Brazilian. He is bad player. He scored quite a few goals this season. I think he scored 11. Richards, man, I think we're the worst in the Premier League for losing possession and mid-controlling the ball. That's what I meant. So relative to Premier League. No, fair enough, man. Fair enough. I just think we haven't been a secure possession-based side under Frank, hasn't he? Just the system ain't been right. The chopping and changing of players. All the different formations he's played. Players need to have some kind of, what I want to call it, instruction. Like, this is how we're going to play, week in, week out. Yes, we need to adapt to certain games, certain tougher opposition. I agree with that. But with Spurs need to be playing the same way, week in, week out. Yeah, obviously adjustments here and there, depending on the position, tactical. Maybe you need to change tactics in the game. But I think the players need that consistency and style of play to work towards, I think. Ellie's saying top players who experience of winning too. 100% Ellie. The club is only as good as your scouting. Paratici and Lands ain't it. Yeah, they're not it at the moment, are they? They're not. So they've got a lot to prove. They really do. Guys, let's get a question before I close down, because I've got a bit of stuff to do at home. Let me let's see what questions I've got for you guys. See if I've got any good ones. Let's have a look. Let me find a good one for you guys. Oh yeah, let's just do this. It's kind of like a general question. You can all kind of get involved in this one. So, was yesterday the start of a turnaround, or was it just a one-off game against a weak Brentford side? Yeah? Answer that, guys, everybody. Give us your thoughts on that. See what you all think. And then I can kind of gauge the chat where you're all at. Do you know what I mean? What you're thinking about, about Spurs and yesterday. Are people getting too carried away? Are people still worried? Are people positive about yesterday and think we can really push on now? For me, I don't know. I really don't know. It's it's one better game against not the best opposition. I need to see it. I need to see how we get on against Nottingham Forest. I need to see us against Liverpool, Palace. I want to see how what Frank does with regards to his starting lineup, the style of play. Is this what it's going to be now? Yeah. Until I see that in the next kind of 4, 5, 6 games, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm really not. Patrick, evening to you. Says, let us play. Big up to Manny. Hope you're good, man. Looks like the players aren't as bad as the majority of people are saying. And this, Manny, the chat has been a bit up and down. There's a lot more kind of question the players in this chat. They're not good enough. But yeah, they were good enough yesterday. They have been good enough in certain games this season. And then I do put a lot down to how Frank is setting up the side. I really do. I've said that all season myself. Ryan, progress is like a wavy line. Yesterday was a peak. There'll be toughs to come. Of course, there'll be ups and downs. But look, let's just see if we can get a run going, yeah? Try and win some games. We got a good result away to Newcastle. Weren't totally happy with the performance, but the result was good. Patrick, they were weak. They never pressed us. I read something that they did try and press us and they did leave us some space. I don't know. I'll get different opinions on that. People kind of said that if they were playing in more of a lower block, we would have struggled more. I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch the game. Big up to Luke. Hope you're good, man. How are you? Let's go to the chat. Patrick said, calm down and enjoy. That was the best team performance since City. It was the best performance for a while, man. It's been tough, isn't it? Yeah, it's been tough the last month, 5-6 weeks. Really, really tough. Let's go back to the chat, see what people are saying about that question I asked. Manny's saying we need his performances more often. 100% we do. We really do, to know if there's a lot of progress going on, enough progress going on throughout the season. Carl saying, hopefully yesterday was a marker for team performance. That's what it is. That's the level it's got to be. We've got to see that commitment, that effort, the energy, the aggression, the wanting, the desire. It was there yesterday, wasn't it? It was so much better than what we've seen recently. Richards, man, for example, against Bournemouth, no Xavi, not ready. All matters. Frank wanted to use Richie as a focal point, and he spent most of the time on the floor. That's a player problem. I just Bournemouth just on that day, they're just ahead of us. They were. Ariella knew what he's doing. He worked out how to play against Spurs, and we just didn't have any answers that day. It was a bad performance, wasn't it? But that's been one of many, isn't it? That performance against Bournemouth at home. We should be doing better. I'm sorry. I know Bournemouth, a little bit far ahead. I wouldn't say they've got a better team than us, better squad than us. I just think they've got a better coach than us. And he's obviously ahead in the process. Big up to Kate. Hi, Dan. Thanks for all your replies. No worries. I always reply to everyone in the comments, and I appreciate everybody who leaves their comments. I always do my best to reply to you all. Another question for everybody, because I don't think not everyone answered that one. Let's just do one more, and then I'm gonna log off. So this is a good one, guys. You might like this question. Which performance do you think represents Spurs' real level this season? Have a think of that one. Let's actually get that in the chat then. It's easier to let's write that in there. Create a banner. Which is performance? I'm so tired, guys. Honestly, I'm not sleeping a lot at the moment. The little one's keeping me up. I'm shattered at the moment. Really tired. It's normal though, isn't it, when you have a newborn? It's crazy, but look, she's beautiful. She's doing really well. Lovely little thing. I shouldn't moan about that, but if I'm coming across a little bit all over the place, it's just because I'm just absolutely exhausted. All right, let's get that question on there. Show. Which performance do you think represents Spurs' real level this season, eh? Give that one a go. There. Let's have a look. Let's go to the chat on this one. Where's it gone? It's timed out. Don't want a timer on it. What's going on with these timers? I don't know. I can't work it out. Anyway, let's go to the chat. Let's go to the chat because I've got to shut down in a minute. Ryan's saying 100% Patrick after Fulham. Thomas Frank stopped. TFL stopped trains. Talking about getting to the games. Sonny, Arsenal away is the answer to your question. Oh dear, City. That's the real That's the real performance that represents Spurs' level. Guys, look after yourself, Patrick. And I think both Chelsea and Brentford games shows where our squad is at. Okay. Hey, mate, I'm not going to read your name out, but I hope you're good. Hope you're good. Get some sleep, mate. Yeah, I do. I need to. I need to sleep, man. I need to catch up. Oh, dear. We're winning the league this year. Yes, we are. 100% we're winning the league. Oh, my days. So not quite bird, not quite fish. Somewhere in between. A bit neither nor there, really. Guys. Yesterday was far the best, but it's hard to really say because we ain't had a settled 11. Various midfield and tactic combinations. And basically, just hit the nail on the head there, Carl. Haven't you? You just hit the nail on the head. How can we build any consistency with change of formation, players? It's crazy. Let's hope Frank does get that consistency, sticks to a style of play now. Newcastle, where the pressure was off Spurs, wake up, laugh out loud. Psycho teacher, Blodo Glimpy thinks that's the real level performance that represents Spurs. Dan, get some sleep, guys. Look, smash the like button, subscribe if you're new. Look, let's try and be a bit positive. We won a game. Let's hope things are on the up. But look, there's a lot to prove. There really is a lot to prove. Thomas Frank has got a big job on his hands. And he's got a lot of people he needs to convince. And these players, they need to convince a lot of fans if they're good enough. Guys, I'm going to leave it there. Let me just see a couple more comments in the chat. To see Gray play with Bentancur and Xavi, it was wonderful. Look, Gray, I thought it was all right yesterday. Bentancur was better as well. But again, we've got to see this against better opposition, better midfields. Take care of yourself, Dan. Have a good weekend. You too, man. Thank you for everyone who's joined us today. Big up to you all. And as always, come on, you Spurs.